and welcome back to the Alizee Show. I'm your host, Alizee, and today I'm joined by VANGELINASKOV.
Hello, you remembered how to do the intro this time.
Yeah, but I didn't even think about it. Do you know what I mean? It just kind of you have to not think, and then it just rolls.
Yeah, that's how we do all of these episodes. We just stop thinking and just let talk shit for the whole time.
Yeah, and yet it works. It's like the best form of content. Weird, isn't it?
Well, that's what everybody online does. Do you think these people are thinking?
That is debatable. What have you been up to? Even though the last time I spoke to you was yesterday.
Oh, I've done so much. I ate too much lunch, feel quite sick. And yeah, really exciting. I went for a walk,
Oh,
and
that's
that's
nice. That's
it.
nice. A little nature walk for your mental health.
Yeah, stupid mental health. What have you been doing in the last 2 hours?
I went to the David Mitchell history talk last night.
Oh yeah. How was that?
Do you know what? It was good. It was David Mitchell and someone called Mary Beard, and I believe she's some sort of historian slash TV presenter. I'm not sure. Like Rachel knows who she is. I've never really heard of her. And it was them two talking about the books that they'd written. I think she did hers about the Roman empires, and he did his about medieval kings and queens.
Surprised he didn't do Roman Empire. Isn't that the whole
That
thing?
that did come up. Like the moderator, the host, the first thing she said was, "Why are young men obsessed with the Roman Empire?" So it the meme did come up. It was good. Like, ugh, I hate having I hate having it's not even a criticism really, because it's good, but there's only so far that you can say something is good. I mean, like David Mitchell was very funny. Like there were moments where the kind of Mark Corrigan from Peep Show popped out when he's talking about history and when he's talking about rulers and that type of thing. You know what I mean? It sounded a bit and he was funny and stuff. The other one, Mary, though, like I hate being critical, but then it's just discussing stuff, in it? Because I'm not the only person. My friend also thought the same as I did. We came to the same conclusion about it. But I
It's
hate
okay to criticize if you're not being a dick about it. It's all right.
but my whole main channel was just criticizing that shit stuff. So sometimes I feel little bit like, oh, wind your neck in, stop having so many opinions. It was good and it was like all right and stuff, but it felt a bit like maybe Mary hadn't done much live stage stuff. I don't know, because she'd kind of start a point and then it wouldn't really connect. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But it's odd because I'm very sure that she's a TV person who does TV. She kept kind of like interrupting David a little bit, and that was a bit like he's the one who's being funny and doing really well because he's had like loads of on-stage experience, right? I mean, he's on Would I Lie to You, for God's sake, right? Like, can you just let him make his point without? Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah,
Well,
but
maybe
like,
she hadn't done much live stuff.
that's kind of yeah, that is what I thought. It was still good, but it was funny because you could see there was a little bit of a difference in that way, and I feel like because David would say something as a joke, and then she would kind of go, "Well, that's not technically true." She was doing a bit of like the pedantic thing, and it felt a little
Okay.
bit like school teacher pupil roles. And I kind of
Hmm.
feel like maybe it wasn't that helpful in terms of being on stage with someone, because when you do that a bit too much, it can, I guess, take the wind out of their sails. A
Yeah.
little,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Um,
Hmm.
I'm sure like no one else really noticed. I'm sure no one
Hopefully
really
not anyway.
like no one actually noticed, but it was just little things that I kind of picked up on. And then rather I was like listening to them talk about empires, like and emperors and stuff. And rather narcissistically, I started thinking, do you know what? I could do that easily. Not the history part, but like sitting on a stage, talking, making people laugh, easy. I should be up there. I just started thinking about myself.
I mean, you could do it though. Don't see why you don't. You should just do a live show. Okay, YouTubers do that all the time.
No one would come.
You just hire actors to sit in the audience.
Do you know what I was thinking? I was being such a main character because I love to sit in my little imagination land and think out delusional scenarios, right? And I'm
Oh
on the
yeah.
train heading into London, and I was thinking about my birthday next year, and I was thinking, oh, do you know what Miley Cyrus did for her birthday this year? She
Not a
put
clue.
on she put together a party where she performed for like her friends and family, and she was just singing songs and
I love that.
I was thinking to myself, do you know what? I should really do that. Like, I should just throw a party. Maybe not my birthday, maybe just like a party next year for me. And then I should perform and like do songs and do a bit of stand up for like all the people. And I was having like such a main character kind of like
You should do it and invite me. I've never actually heard you sing.
no one
So
has.
no one's heard you sing?
No, that's not true. A few people have because like my singing teacher used to put on these little student kind of concerts, I guess.
Mhm.
Done that. I've done that a couple of times. I'd be up for it, but of course I'd be all like screamo.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm so there. If you do that and you don't invite me, I'm gonna be so pissed off. Like I'll never speak to you again.
No, I've got to get better at that first. But yeah, that's what I've been doing in the past 24 hours, just imagining myself doing things better than actual like experts.
I
And
mean, that is what I've been doing too, because of the last like I was looking at book publishing stuff. I haven't fucking written my book yet. I've written
mm,
bits and pieces, but I jumped 50 steps ahead. And I was looking at like, oh, how do you get on a bestsellers list? And it's like you need 5 to 10,000 copies in the first week. And I'm like, I feel like that's doable. I have an audience. If I just tell them, lads, I really want to get 5,000 sales in the first week. Can you just help a girl out, please? I feel like we could do it. And then I was jumping ahead. I was like, okay, so I do that. And then I'm a bestseller. And then it's amazing. And then I can like put out the next book. And then I'm like super famous. I'm going to get interviewed. Oh my God, I could get on TV. And I was just imagining this whole thing for a book I haven't written. So like the book might not even work. It might be shit. You know, I don't know.
5,000 sales, that is 5% of your current audience, which is actually like, because I think some people think, oh, well, that's really doable then. It's like it's quite ambitious, because I like
It
what I
is.
like to do. I like to do similar to that, but think about the money that I could make with things instead, right? So I'm always just thinking about money. So I was thinking because when I first released that Piers Morgan uh erotica, I
Mhm.
think that month I think I had like 50K subs and I sold about 200 copies, which isn't a whole lot. And I was thinking, well, I'm almost like 5 times as big now. So if I release something now, 5 times 200, 1,000. If I got 1,000 sales, I'd make X amount. Oh, I should do that then. Do you
Mhm.
know, like that's the way that I think. But like even if I could like sell shorts and just have like 0.5% of my audience buy the shorts, that's great.
Buy
Like
the
that.
shorts.
Oh, like the short stories, I mean, not like the short.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
like, what are you talking
Not
about?
like the TikToks. No, the
You
short
don't rent
stories.
those.
Because I want to write like I want to do like lots of short stories because I'm always having these ideas of like, oh, fantasy scenario, oh that, and I never do them because it's quite the commitment to sit there and write 100,000 words. If I wrote like 10,000 instead and sold them for, I wouldn't sell them for 99p because audience members who are listening who give a shit about like Kindle and stuff on Kindle, if something is less than like £1, yeah, about yeah, something's like less than £1 or £1.50, you only get 35% of the royalty. And 35%, that's like
Is
for every
that,
pound, that's 35p.
but that's the
You know what I
same
mean?
for any price of the ebook, right?
No, no. So if it's above that, you get 70%. So that's quite the jump.
Oh.
So I would sell like all my shorts and my parodicas and stuff as at like 199. But the way I see it is like, well, it's kind of like a form of merchandise.
Hmm.
Like that's really, really cheap merchandise if you think of it that way. Because who am I going to be writing this stuff for? Is there an audience of people out there who have never heard of me but really want to get into parody erotica? I don't know. I would primarily be writing for like my current audience who know that I like to take the piss. So, you
Hmm.
know,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You should just like, just do it. Sit down and do it. This is what I say to you about every idea you have. I'm like, just do the idea.
because I kind of like oscillate between. thinking that I could do better than the comedians on stage. I used to think
Hmm.
that, obviously not anymore. Don't support the man, disown him. But when I used to go like to Russell Brand gigs, towards the end of it, I was getting fed up of like watching him because I'd always feel
Hmm.
like, no, that should be me up there. Because it's actually a lot easier than you'd think to make a room full of people laugh.
Is
It's
it?
a People laugh at anything. I mean that. People like they laugh nervously, they laugh like being empathetic with people. Like people will laugh at anything. If you just drop the rude word that we can't say on YouTube that isn't the F bomb or shit, like the rudest word for vagina, if you say that, people will laugh.
Hmm.
Like if you say something about having a anal like anything, anal anything, people will laugh. I've seen it. Like once I was at an open mic and this girl's set was just about enjoying anal sex.
That was it.
Yeah, no, that was it, and it wasn't even like it wasn't like these were clever constructed jokes. It was basically like I love it up the bum, and like people were laughing, and I was sitting there with my friend, and I was like, okay, good for you. Don't care. It's not cosmopolitan.
So yeah, everyone can do that. You just need to start talking about anal, and you're all good. So you could do that.
Oh God. Yes, there's lots of stuff that I could do. I don't want to though. It's cold outside. It's getting dark
It
now. By
is.
4 p.m. it's dark.
I'm so depressed. It's awful. I hate it.
I don't want to make people laugh. I barely laugh. I'm not happy. Why do I want to make others happy?
That can be your thing. You can be one of those depressed comedians.
They all are. That's
Yeah,
all of
but the
their
ones that
things.
like just talk about being depressed.
There's like this also with like people that really try to make others laugh, like really try. There's almost this incessant need for people to like they want people to like them. It's something that I've
Mm.
noted, not just of famous comedians, but people that I've known in real life who are like really funny and naturally would do well at stand up, but it comes from this really insecure place of just wanting people to like them. And I'm beyond that because I don't like people, so I get insecure about stuff, but I like don't like me. It makes my life easier. Like everyone ignore me while
Isn't
still
that
giving me
like
views.
isn't that like a lot of performers in general though? Because like
100%,
I
yeah.
know before we started recording this, I brought up Taylor Swift. I watched her documentary with my girlfriend, and she had this whole thing about how she just talking about like she grew up, like she just wanted everybody to like her, and she learned how to make people like her. Like she even in her own words, like almost to a manipulative degree to make everybody
Mm,
like her, and like she just wants applause and stuff. And then you can see it in everything she does. Like she always has to top the next thing. And any
mm,
album that didn't like break records, she just doesn't like that album. It's it's really weird. I don't know. I
mm.
kind of feel bad for her. I don't think I have that, but like to that degree. So maybe that's why I'm not famous yet.
This is just us literally being depressed.
Let's make it happy. Uh couldn't think of anything. I thought I could. And then, oh, I saw a squirrel today.
Oh, that's nice.
It is. I liked him. A dog was like running around in the leaves looking at it. It was very cute. It was very lovely. And that's my joy.
Have you ever seen The Land Before Time?
That's the dinosaurs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to love that. Oh no, don't bring up the kid. Is that what you're doing?
I'm not going to bring up the kid. I was going to bring up something happier, but you've really brought the
Okay.
conversation down.
I'm
Great.
sorry.
Great.
I'm sorry. Just who
I
I am.
saw I saw a TikTok of someone hole punched a bunch of like little leaves to make them look like tree stars and rained them down on their tiny little tortoise, and the tortoise was eating all these tree stars, and the comments were like, oh, it's like Littlefoot in The Land Before Time.
Oh, that's
That's what I
so
was gonna
cute.
say. Something lovely, not unfortunately a tragedy happened.
It's cute. Not the tragedy. The I have some leaves up here that I got.
Now
I brought them back from Madrid.
all you're missing now is a turtle.
I don't think a turtle is a good idea. My cats would bully it, and that is not a nice life for a turtle. It's why I can't have rats, which is very sad.
Yeah, to make this conversation really interesting, I'm gonna say I brought back a rock from France, a river in France, because I liked the idea of this rock has literally been here for like billions of years, but I'm just gonna take it to England.
That was the thought process. Wait, can I show you something? I'll mute my mic for a second so it's not like really obnoxiously loud, but hold on. You chat for a second.
What am I going to talk about? How wonderful I am or how miserable I am? Decisions, decisions. Well, let me know, audience. Will any of you buy my Parodicas for 1.99 and help me pay for all of those facials I like getting?
Lovely. This is my bag of rocks and shells that I got this summer. And they're all in here. They're in here because I kept leaving them everywhere, and my girlfriend put them all in a bag and was like, "Please do something with the rocks. They're everywhere." And anytime she would take a bag, there'd be rocks in it. So that's what I wanted to show you.
Why are you collecting rocks? Are you a geologist?
No, it was because we went to the beach a lot because it was warm, and then there you see a little pretty one, and I and I wanted, and I have some shells. And then because I got a couple of shells, I had to get a really big shell that was to use as a plate to hold the shells. But then I got more shells, so I had to get another big one as a plate. And then I think I have 3 plate shells, and then lots of mini shells, and then there's some sea glass. So I'm becoming very aware of the fact that I'm saying this, but I watched Colleen Ballinger's last thing because people were talking about it, and she's gotten really into rocks, and now I'm a bit embarrassed.
Do they at least have like any fossils or anything in them? Something cool like
No,
that.
no,
Oh.
they're boring. They're just ones I like.
Do you think it's vegan or plant-based if you put petrol in your car because petrol is made from dead dinosaurs?
Hmm. Is that well, there would have to be a threshold of how long something can be dead for before it's like okay, veganally. So so I think it's okay for the same reason that like well like if this is a bit gross. I was gonna say like if people are buried in the ground, and I know we don't farm over dead people, but if we were to, it would still be the plants would be vegan. Does that make
Yeah,
sense? Or do I need to be institutionalized?
fertilized with dead bodies.
No, not fertilized. They're just the bodies happen to be there.
I think that's fine.
Yeah,
So
that's vegan.
bodies underneath like a garden patch sounds a bit like Fred and Rose West, you know what I mean? Because they were hiding bodies under their patio. And so you're heading into that territory.
Oh, yeah, I don't know who that is.
How do you not know who they are? They
I
killed people
I
as a
got that.
duo. This is really cheery. This is good. This is going to be like Christmas time. They killed people and they put them under the patio. And then there was an episode of Coronation Street that was basically based on the and Rose West murders.
Oh, lovely. Should we try and make this cheerful?
Let's get
Murder's
on.
bad, and I've never killed anybody, and that's nice.
That is dubious. Dubious that you've killed someone, not dubious that murder is bad. Should we get on with some hypothetical scenarios that
Yeah,
AI
before we
came up with?
depress everyone. Yeah.
Before we get cancelled, it's going to
Mm-hmm.
happen one day and it's going to be because of this bloody podcast.
I've already been kind of cancelled. It's fine.
Ah, good for you.
Yeah.
I'm literally like, I'm not fussed about it. I'm not fussed as in, because I don't intend to be malicious. But then I do insult Colleen Hoover a lot, but she
But she
deserves it.
deserves it.
Yeah, she deserves it. She deserves it. Um, well, like, here's the thing. This is like a big touch grass statement, but if you just like the event that I was at last night when they were chatting on the stage, I was listening, but then I decided for fun I would try and estimate how many people were in this room because it was in the Emmanuel Centre in London, right? And I think there were like 12 people a row. No, there were like eight people a row, and then there was like 12 people. No, there was 12 rows. 12 rows, but then there were like 5 sections of them. So like I worked it out, and I think there was basically about 1,000 people in
Mm-hmm.
this hall watching the talk last night. I was just looking around all these people, and I just kind of thought, like, look, all these people, they've got their own lives and stuff. Like, if you're cancelled, just go outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 1,000 people in that room. Do you reckon they know who? I mean, we're in England, sure. So maybe that's not But do you reckon any, like how many of those people do you reckon like know who Zoella is? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like if you're cancelled, turn your computer off, go outside for depends what you're cancelled for as well. If like you just said something stupid on Twitter 10 years ago, turn your computer off, go outside for a walk, just
Hmm.
go outside, touch a bit of grass, like get back into the community and stuff. Because it doesn't it like I think you have
Hmm.
to you'd have to be crazy famous and do something so bad that everyone knows about it for it to affect your actual like real life. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, no, because when I had my weird mini I'm not, it's not even getting cancelled. I just call it that because what else am I going to call it?
Mm,
It was the same weekend that I had Pride, like a whole festival thing. So I was just outside and not looking at my phone. And then by Monday, I'd forgotten about it. That
mm.
was the end of it. So it was fine.
Okay, let's get into these hypothetical scenarios. Number one, what if you found out you were the descendant of a famous historical figure?
It would very much depend on who. Because,
100%.
like you find out that you're related to Hitler, you're going to be really like, you don't want to air that shit out. You're going to hide that forever. If it's somebody cool, like, I don't know, Cleopatra is the first thing that comes to mind for some reason. I can't think of any other people that exist except for Hitler and Cleopatra, apparently. It's like that. I'm going to be like, yes, I'm going to make TikToks about it. I'm going to get TikTok famous. I'm going to get brand deals. I'm going to write a shitty book that people are going to buy just because nepo baby things, and that's that's it. But again, it would depend on who I'm related to. It'd be kind of unfortunate if it's somebody just kind of boring but still like relevant historically, because then what do you do?
That's quite a good Nepo baby to be as well, if you're the descendant of Cleopatra. Or what if you're the direct descendant of Jesus?
Was he even real? Do we know, like, is he a historical figure or like, I'm not saying this in an anti-religion way, in like a genuine question. He's not like an actual historical figure though, right?
But that's the thing. His name wasn't even Jesus.
What was
Like
it?
I think the because the Old Testament anyway is a Jewish book, right? So I think like in the original Hebrew, I might be messing this up entirely, but like from what I've kind of read myself, I think in the original Hebrew, his name was Yeshua. I'm pretty sure it was like
Ah.
Jesus was Yeshua, but then like the direct translation or like a kind of westernized version of the name Yeshua is Joshua. And so, but they changed the name from Joshua to Jesus because our Lord Josh, who art in heaven, like doesn't sound quite
I
like Josh H.
love that.
Christ. But I don't know
That's
if
so
I
much
just read
better.
that somewhere and that's just bollocks. I don't know. And I'm not gonna someone in the comment section tell me because I like to think like I do find that funnier. His name was actually Josh. So
I choose to believe that. Well, the thing is, if you're the descendant of Jesus, right? Firstly, you're gonna have to deal with so many like devout, like annoyingly devout Christians who are like, that's not true. He didn't have any children. He never was with anybody because he was too holy for sex, apparently, even though he was like 30 something, just bullshit. So you'd have to deal with that. I'd still go the TikTok route, but then
mm,
I'd also probably claim to be like, close to God or whatever. And I'd probably start a cult. I think that's what I'd do.
you know what makes me laugh sometimes? I think about how there's some really devout Christians out there, most likely in America, who think that like Jesus spoke English. That just
What?
cheers me up. Well, because Jesus wasn't English, was he? But
They
you
think he
like,
spoke English.
there's definitely got to be at least five Americans who do think that Jesus was like white passing and he spoke English. Do you know what I mean? Because like you see the depictions of him in some places, and it's like, do you know what I mean? Like you think of that sometimes, it's like that's fun. That's quite
Yeah.
sweet. That's quite funny.
I just do they not wonder then how he communicated with anybody in his direct vicinity, or were they all speaking English as well?
They probably think that because the Bible is in English, or like their version of the Bible is in English. Do you know what I mean? There's got to be at least five people in the world in the United States who think that, and I just love that. I love that for them. It's like the same way that I love that island of the indigenous tribe who are completely untouched from all society. And when helicopters fly
Hmm.
over, they chuck spears at the helicopter, like, and they
Yeah.
want nothing to do with. I love them. I
Yeah.
hope they're having a wonderful day wherever they are. I hope they have a lovely, like, festive period, and like the same way that I love these five most likely Americans who think that Jesus spoke English.
Yeah, I don't think I like them. I like the people on the island. They're such a vibe, but the Americans thinking he's a bit no, no, which actually just to briefly bring up because I wanted to tell you this and I kept forgetting. When I was in Madrid in my Airbnb, I always check like if there's Bibles in the drawers and stuff
Yeah.
because I just like to see. I opened the drawer. There was no Bible. There was, however, Verity by Colleen Hoover.
Shut up.
I took a picture for you. I'll send it to you after.
Oh my God, that's like a white woman between the ages of 20 and 30's Bible. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Oh
I feel
God,
like it's
oh.
blasphemous, perhaps.
It is distasteful.
Ruined my trip, honestly. Was very upset.
That's ruining my podcast. That's annoys me. That is like get a better taste in like Verity. Verity's it's such a shit annoying book. It's so annoying. She annoys me so much.
Well, before I completely distract you with Colleen Hoover, you need to give your answer of what you're going to do if you're a historical Nepo baby.
Again, yes, it depends entirely upon uh who it is. If I was related to Hitler, I would be a bit confused because I would be very confused by that. I am part Pakistani, and the rest of my family is like English. So that would be a bit what's going on
Mhm.
there, you know?
Yeah.
But then one of my parents never knew their real parent, but then that's obviously where like the South Asian blood comes
Mhm.
in. I don't think Hitler's in there. It would depend. Who would I like to be related to? Oh, this is difficult because I don't really like many people. Um,
Most people in history aren't actually that great, you know?
no, no. That was the topic of discussion last night that most of these people. Do you know what? They brought up a really good point last night. I think about this quite a bit that rulers and kings and queens and emperors most of them were probably shit scared and just having to get on with things, and having to do things but not really knowing what they're doing, that type of
Hmm.
thing. And they brought up David Mitchell brought up how there was a picture recently of Rishi Sunak and he was at a Nissan, like the car manufacturing company. He was at like the place where they actually make the cars, and he was just like pretending to put petrol in a car or something, like acting. And
Hmm.
Mary Beard made the point that throughout history, these people are just the line between ruler and actor is very, very thin. Just something to think
Hmm.
about, you know. If they're
So
all
then
acting, what's going on? Who's actually in charge? Who knows? But who would I be related to?
it doesn't have to be realistic. I mean, I feel like
I
I would have no
know.
connection to Hitler either. I don't think he was Irish or Macedonian. So,
Mm. I feel like, yeah, and I'm much better looking than him as well.
yeah, but it's not difficult, really.
They were all drug addicts as well. The Nazis. I watched this. I don't know how factual it was, but it was on Netflix, right? I watched this documentary about what was it called? I swear it was called like it was something to do with like Hitler's secret sex life or whatever. So I was
Oh
watching
dear
it,
God.
with a title like that. Why wouldn't you? And
Hmm.
um, they said that he was on this weird concoction of drugs from his physician. At one point, it was something like 40 or 80 drugs were in one injection, and it was full of things like meth and cocaine and just like all this crazy shit. And it's like, wow, a lot of these rulers who turn into these like, genocidal maniacs, a lot of them are like on crazy drugs. Makes you think, let's get off Hitler.
Yeah, no more Hitler for the rest of the podcast.
Okay, I promise. I promise. Who I've done that thing where I can't remember anyone that has
Yeah,
ever
I had the
existed in
same issue. I
history.
just went, Cleopatra, she's the only one that exists. Doesn't say it's like if you don't know who it is, right? You don't have to know exactly who it is. But if it's somebody like positive-ish in history, what would you do?
Oh no, I know. I would be related to Diogenes the Cynic. who was like one of the four founders of
Of
cynicism in
course you
ancient
would.
Greece.
Of course you
And for people that don't know, he he despised all normal types of societal conventions, and he lived in a barrel in the middle of town, and he just like spat at people and stuff, and he would just go around like causing a ruckus. And I don't know if he lived when it was Socrates or Plato, but he would just disrupt people's days and just go like he was a bother to
would.
the city. I don't know if he lived in Athens. I'd be related to him, and I would use that as like my credentials for writing my philosophy books. Ultimately, one day, I'd be like,
Yeah, I mean, it would work out for you because people would go, oh, yeah, related by decades or centuries or whatever. So, decades, decades.
yeah, he was knocking around just like 50 years ago.
Yeah, I can't count. All right. It's hard sometimes. And yeah, they would go like, oh, yeah, you're kind of related. Sure, we'll read you. You probably have loads of things to say. And everybody would go, oh, yes, very good. You are very wise. And your life would
Exactly.
kind of be sorted. But no, I want to pick somebody better now. I don't want to be related to Cleopatra because everyone's just going to be like, well, you're not that pretty. So, because she was supposed to be like the most beautiful woman in the world. So I'm
Yeah,
just going
but
to get
was
compared there.
she though? Filler and Botox didn't exist back then, so like, come on,
They've
dubious.
done like a reconstruction of what she might have looked like. And I honestly think she, like, this is not in a I'm great kind of way. I genuinely think we look a little bit related. She was not that pretty.
I want to look at this up.
Like, we don't look
Cleopatra
the same, but we look like we could be cousins, you
recon
know?
reconstruction. Isn't there one where they reconstructed it and she looked like Britney Spears?
What? I haven't seen that.
Oh, maybe I made that up then.
You might have. If you just search what did Cleopatra really look like, it comes up. And there's like one picture in particular.
I mean, yeah, she
She
looks all
looks like
right.
some of my cousins. This is why.
Hmm, interesting. So, wait, who are you going to be related to then?
Oh no, I'm back to square one. I don't know. Uh how far back in history can we go with this?
Do what you want. Wild Oyster.
Oh my God, there's so many people though. Right. I'm gonna pick like just some like old Hollywood movie star who's like not dead. Or who is dead, sorry, who's not alive. They have to be dead, right? For them to be historical. Otherwise, they're just a
Mm.
person and it doesn't count. So that one of them, who, by the way, I know I'm just talking about people I look like now. One of the old Hollywood people is literally my doppelganger, and it freaks me out.
Who?
And I can't remember her fucking name, and it pisses me off so much. I can never remember her name. Oh, I'm gonna have to think of this later, and I'll show you. But it freaks me out. It's really weird.
Want to go on to the next one?
Yes, I've rambled too much. I can't pick somebody else.
What if you had the ability to read minds but could not control it? That's strange. It. What do you mean? As in, you can't control the ability or you can't control the minds? Let's just say
I
you can't control the ability. So I guess akin to Edward Cullen.
Yeah, I mean, well, again, I would, find Jeff Bezos, find out all his security codes and his passwords and like steal all his money. Um, Not a bank. We've moved on from the bank. I have better things to be doing. Um, I would just try and be around like really smart people as much as I could and just hope that it like brushes off on me. And then
Mm.
also I feel like I could use this in a way to make myself really successful. Like if I start hanging around with like producers and people in the music industry, and then I kind of hear their thought process about stuff, and I can make the perfect demo. I mean, I can't fix my inability to sing, but we don't need that. Lots of people can't sing and they still do it. So I would
Mm.
make the perfect demo for them and get really famous, and I'd always know what people want. I think it would turn me into a chronic people pleaser. Wouldn't be
Ew.
good.
Ew.
Yeah, there's a negative here too, but I'd be a really successful people pleaser. So,
My singing teacher said that it's just like it's all about confidence because he says that there are some people whose technical ability isn't that great, but because they believe that they're the shit, you'd think it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, well, I know that's my issue because I've never actually like because I obviously have like a few songs, kind
Mm.
of like they're like a half a song, if we're being honest. Um, but I get so scared. I don't want anybody to hear me singing. So I've never actually like sung. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
the closest I get is taking the piss singing Kiss from a Rose. Like that's it. But I've never actually like properly sung. So who knows? Maybe if one day I just started, I'd be amazing. I'd just be like better than Mariah Carey. She can fucking retire. Like I'm just the best.
Lovely.
Yeah. What's your answer though?
It would do my head in, I think, if I was listening in on people's thoughts all the time. So I think I would become a recluse and go live in a mountain because it would just be like annoying because most thoughts, like all thoughts are spontaneous, really. You can kind of direct them, but they
Mm-hmm.
are like they do come from nothing, well, not from nothing, but they are spontaneous, right? Um, so to like have to overhear people's just like nonsensical thoughts all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of people's thoughts are quite, oh, I'm just gonna go walk my dog or I'm just gonna go take the bins out. Like pedestrian. And you'd be surrounded by that. So I just think it would be annoy me. It depends on my mood.
Yeah.
I'd go live in a
You
mountain and then like by read mind, I think it would be a distance, like a spatial thing,
mm-hmm.
right? So like if we were doing this and I could read minds, I don't think I'd be able to read your mind because I don't think that's how it works. So I'd do a lot of stuff on Zoom, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I'd do
All
all
your
my
social
communicating.
interactions
Yeah,
online.
yeah, yeah.
You wouldn't be able to be around anybody who had ADHD because they'd
No.
just give you a headache.
Yeah, it's hard enough like living in this brain. I don't need to like overhear and you don't want to be listening to people. I mean, I don't know. You don't want to encroach on anyone's privacy that way as well. Because like we all think mad things sometimes, but thoughts are private and that's kind of what they're there for, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, again, there are like I don't know, was I talking to you about this or somebody else about like that there's a certain percentage of the population who don't have an inner monologue at all.
One of my friends, he doesn't. I can't remember what the condition's called, but he has that. I'll just hang out with him all the time. Be brilliant.
He'd be your best friend and your only friend forever.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
find a support group for people who don't have an inner monologue and just like befriend them all.
Yeah. It's it's like we've spoken about it before, and I think we haven't spoken about it in a while, but I think he because he doesn't have thoughts. So I'm like, how do you think of things to say? And he's like, just say it. Like I just come out and say the thing, and then if it goes badly, it goes badly. Kind of, sort of.
Yeah,
It's interesting. Yeah, I'd just hang out with him and other like-minded people.
that just confuses me. It's just how do you not, because you can't think before you speak, so you could just blurt out some horrific shit and not know till it's out of your mouth.
Mm,
I don't know.
mm.
Okay. I feel like I'm gonna go off on a tangent here because it just breaks my brain a little bit.
It's risky. It's a risky condition to be born with, isn't it? Especially in this day and age.
Could you have like that and Tourette's? Like, could they be comorbid?
Mm. That's funny you mentioned it because I was just thinking of Tourette's then. I started thinking of Sweet Anissa, the Twitch streamer, and her Tourette's.
Yeah,
So it's just yeah,
but
our
I
minds are
mean, like
similar. But
the
yeah, if
verbal
you
kind of Tourette's.
maybe, I don't know. I'm sure
That
someone's
poor
got to have.
person.
Yeah,
That's
that'd
so
be difficult.
unfortunate.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what I would do if I could read minds. I would go live in a mountain so I didn't have to read minds, or just hang out with my mate who doesn't think.
Or that, yeah, one of those.
What would you do? Oh, what if you were trapped in a video game and had to complete it to escape? What
Oh
do you reckon would be
Jesus,
like the hardest, and what do you reckon would be the easiest?
the hardest would obviously be like what's it called, Elden Ring or whatever, like or Dark Souls, one of those.
Mm,
Awful. That would be the nightmare. The easiest game to complete. Uh, I was gonna say like maybe like an old school Nintendo game, but not really. They're not
mm,
actually that. easy, especially if you're running around in it. Like it's easy because it's got limited controls, but in that's you running around. So like one like some oh I Brats Forever Diamonds. You can't die.
No, that's funny because I was just thinking, oh, easy. There was a Barbie game where you had you were a horse rider in the bar and you could like wash, and it was PS1, and you could wash the horses and you'd groom the horses. That's the
But
easiest game to
there's
escape
no
from.
ending to that game, so you can't complete it.
Oh shit, yeah. Okay, so not that.
So
Uh,
Brass Forever Diamonds has a storyline, so you just get to the end of the story.
Pokemon. Come on.
I suppose, yeah. But if you're in Poke, fucking hell, Pokemon, Jesus Christ, could you be attacked by them?
Yeah, but no one dies, or like very few people die in Pokemon. So I feel like, and especially if it was the more recent generations of Pokemon, where it's okay, yeah, that's my answer for like the easiest Pokemon, like Let's Go Pikachu, or yeah, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, right? Because it's a remake of Pokemon Yellow. And you can have Pikachu or you can have Eevee, and it's so easy because it's for children. Like you ain't
Mm-hmm.
gonna die. I mean, you win a battle, all of your Pokemon get XP points. It's so kind of dumbed down and so for. Ironically, Pokemon originally was for little kids, but it's so for little kids. Like, there's not a challenge involved in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. Easy. Then you get to be around Pokemon, but you can complete it and you could escape. And also, you ain't gonna die. Like the old school Pokemon in like Red and Blue, people kind of would die sometimes, like it was alluded to in the
Mm-hmm.
games, and like the much older episodes, they were like way more violent. But now Pokemon are just like fluffy little toys. So, it's like being in a world of golden retrievers. Easy.
Yeah, I'm still going Brats. And what I do in that situation is just follow the storyline, try on some cute outfits, and get a puppy.
I
And
think
that's
like
it.
I think one of the hardest would be, have you played Vampire Survivors?
No, I haven't heard of it.
It's really fun. It's like amazing if you have ADHD
You see,
because
I don't like a challenge.
it's I guess it's not like, because if you get good at it, like I'm really good at it, I never
Hmm.
die in it.
Hmm.
So I've got all these power ups and I've like unlocked everything and I've done all of like the secrets and all the unlocked missions and stuff like that. And you can be like so OP that when you die, it's you choosing to leave it because you're just like you're killing endless hordes.
Hmm.
That's what the game is, and it can just go on. You can just
Hmm.
play it for however long you like. Um, I totally forgot where I was going to go with that. I forgot what I was talking about.
That it's the hardest game.
Well, it's the hardest in terms of like the hordes, because me as a human, I wouldn't be able to kill all, but in the
Okay.
game itself, so that it would be the hardest if you're a human. I guess it depends if you can get like powers, because also Kingdom Hearts would be really difficult if you had no magic ability.
Well, I kind of assumed you'd go into the game and then you would like be part of the world. Like
Mm.
you wouldn't just plop in as you are. Like sort of like in an avatar kind of situation.
Mm. See, but I'd kind of want to do like a Final Fantasy just because it would be so good to live in like I mean it would be that good because there's always like death and destruction, but it'd be kind of like my 10-year-old dream to be
Hmm.
in a Final Fantasy game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but then could you survive?
If I had magic, yeah, I think so.
Hmm. Okay. Well, like, see, I haven't really played Final Fantasy. I've told you this. Like, I played like one of them for like 10 minutes, didn't really like it, didn't know what was going on. It's just turn-based. Like, it's that kind of game, right? Is there like a
Yeah,
storyline to it?
yeah, of course there's storylines to it, but it's also like, of duh. um, yeah, it's there's good storylines, good music, good visuals. Like Final Fantasy always had really good visuals for their time period. Um, but the more recent ones aren't. Like I guess like is Final Fantasy 15 turn based? I can't remember. If it is, it's super adapted. or like so you don't really notice that it's turn based anymore. I can't really remember because it's been a few years since I played it. Um, no, I thought of the hardest game that you just would not survive. Have you ever played Near Automata? Automata,
Mm,
Automata, have you pronounce it?
no, but that sounds familiar.
Oh,
But
they're the
no.
best. The Near games are like the best, and they've remastered and remade them for I think PS5 or like PS4, one of the recent consoles. They are so good. Yoko Taro, he's like the bloke who creates all these games. He's like insane, but he's a genius. Like they're
Aren't they
brilliant.
all?
But he has this mode on Nier Automata where it's like just impossible mode, where you have 1 HP of health, and yeah, if you get hit once by anything like a bullet, anything, you die straight away, and it's basically impossible to get through. That would be the hardest game, I
Has
think.
anybody like completed?
Probably. I mean, there were people that. Do you remember? Like, did you ever play Guitar Hero?
Yeah.
Did you remember like the what's that song? Is it Through the Fire and Flames? Is that what the song's called? It's by Dragon People. I don't know.
Dragon people
Like, what are they called? Through the Fire and Flames.
by
Guitar
dragon
Hero.
people.
Dragon Force, and it's called Through the Fire and Flames. Dragon Force. Like there were people who could do that on expert mode, and it's like at that point, bro, just pick up a real guitar, please.
Maybe they do though.
I
Maybe.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Actually, wait. Guitar Hero. That would be the easiest game if you were trapped in a video game has completed. Guitar Hero, easy
No,
mode.
because you have to complete all of the songs. What if you can't?
You just get good. Like literally,
But
just get good, scrub.
no, I'm going the easy route. I'm still going Bratz. You can't change my mind.
I can't. I literally can't decide what video game I'd want to be trapped in because I love video games, so it would just like be fun to be in any of them. I can't decide, you know.
I see, I'm just going with like if I'm trapped in a video game, I want out immediately, as quickly as possible. I want no challenge. I don't want to be any more scared than I am. It won't be cool. I won't have a nice time. I'm gone.
You don't want to enjoy the experience. You don't want to like have some Pokemon for a bit, or do you know what? Pokemon World would be a lot easier than being in Digimon World because Digimon World, like they do die. They get reborn and reincarnated as little like Digi-Eggs or whatever, but like death happens quite a bit in the original Japanese series. So
Yeah, no, no. I'm okay. I'd rather just live. Like if I had to pick one where I wanted to like experience it,
mm,
I would probably pick Hogwarts Legacy so that I could be in Hogwarts. But
you
beyond that,
are you are cancelled for saying that. I can't believe that you just said that on my podcast. And we just talked about being cancelled, and now you're gonna I disown you. You're gonna be in trouble for saying that. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. If you could pick like a world to be in,
yeah, I mean it's a cool world. Like I'm not
but
gonna
also
say it's
like
not.
Hogwarts is really dangerous. I don't know why. I've been getting like loads of kind of like Hogwarts related TikToks and memes. I think because like people were doing. Did you see that people were doing the people were
What?
doing like this song and dance to the bit where Ron's like, once I make my move,
Yeah,
the
so
king will
good.
take the queen will take me, then you're free to check the king. No, Ron, no. What is it? I can do all of it.
It's so good. It's so good. It's like the
Well,
best thing. And then I watched that movie afterwards, and that scene came on. I was like, oh my God.
I think I can do I'm very sure I could do every single world to Philosopher's Stone. Because like I used to watch the shit out of that when I was a little kid. I loved it so much. Like I loved it so much. I had like do you know who like I as a little kid had a crush on in that
Who?
film? Guess.
I mean, my first thought was like Draco, but no.
Besides Draco Malfoy.
I don't know, Snape.
No, Oliver Wood.
That's so specific.
He's like in two scenes. He's the keeper for the Quidditch team, and for some reason, little like 8-year-old me or whatever had a fat crush on Oliver, on the guy who played Oliver Wood. I
He
don't
was
think
really
he's done much
impactful in those
since.
two scenes.
I don't know what it was. Maybe it's the bit when he gets hit by the bludger. I don't know.
His acting in there was just too good.
I mean,
Just sold it
Malfoy,
for you.
you could understand, right? You could like at that age when you're also well, no, actually, he's Tom. what's his name? Tom, whatever his name is. He's older than me.
Tom Felton.
Yeah. Like that's understandable, at least before he gets like, because he's just like a bully, right? And then he starts to get super fascist, like blood fascist purist. But he's just a bully in the first one. Wait,
Well,
so
no,
he
he's
should be
more
fancying bullies.
complex in the later ones
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he
yeah.
has to do it. He's going to be like killed by Voldemort. I think he's a really interesting character. He's better in the books though, but aren't they always?
Yes, I agree. I don't know how that came from video games. Why do I just like air myself out on here? Like I am as bad as Matt Rife. Like I just air myself out. Trapped in video games. You would go for the Bratz one. I would
Yeah.
probably want to experience a Final Fantasy one, so maybe I'd go for like Final Fantasy 15 or something. But only if I could be the summoner and like summon monsters, demigods,
Mm-hmm.
aeons, whatever, whatever one it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair.
Okay.
I'm gonna actually change my answer, which one I could live in if I had to live in one for fun. I'm
Uh,
going into Assassin's Creed Valhalla because I just think it would be fun. There's a lot of sea in that. And also Eivor's really hot. So
I've not played that one. I've been playing the one that's based in ancient Egypt.
Origins?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah, yeah.
Origins? Yeah.
Like I've been playing that for literally like, oh no, I just thought of another world that you would. Let me finish this thought first. I've been playing Origins for literally like 3 years. I've also been playing Witcher 3, like no joke, for like 3 years. Because I
Is that
forget
how long it is?
it is a really, it's like you're doing all the side quests. It's a really long game, but like I was quite deep into it. And then I left it for about a year. And when I came back to it, I realized that I'd forgotten everything about it. So I decided to start again,
Mm-hmm.
which is quite annoying. But Witcher 3 is a video game that you would not want to be trapped in because every part of it is just miserable. It's just shit for everyone. You talk to the peasants and they're all they're all basically dead. And they're like, oh, a hag from the woods is like killing our babies. It's just like a miserable, like such a shit. Like it's kind of funny in that way because it's like me and my boyfriend say that like if you were born in the Witcher world, you would just jump off a cliff straight away. Because like if you don't do that, you're gonna get eaten by like a giant hag in the woods, or you're gonna get killed by a harpy, or like some weird stuff is gonna. It's just grim. It's a really grim universe to be in.
I need the soundbite of you saying a hag in the woods is killing our babies in that voice that you did that I didn't even know that could come out of you, but it was beautiful.
Thank you. I should have been an actor in a different life. Um, like final hypothetical. What if you
Mhm.
had a superpower that only worked when you were asleep?
What kind of superpower?
I guess you can choose, but you have to think about it because if it's only working when you're asleep, what's the point of super strength? Nothing.
So you could pick the ability to teleport because then anytime you need to get anywhere else, you just go to sleep.
But what if you're having a nap and it's a pretty like intense nap and then you wake up and you're in Australia?
Well, I don't nap, so I'll be safe. But can you not pick? No, I think you'd be able to pick. No? No, because you'd be asleep. Oh, that's stupid and annoying.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly.
there's nothing that would be useful.
I know mine.
Tell me yours and I'll think about mine.
Um, so in shit, what's it called? What's it hold on. Okay. In a book that Stephen King wrote, a science fiction book called The Tommy Knockers, it's about this woman that uncovers a UFO, a crashed UFO that's in the side of just like out like in the woods where she lives, and she starts to dig it up, and it's this huge UFO. But as she's doing that, this weird, I don't know if it's like a bacteria or a virus starts infecting her and then affecting the town, but it's like speeding up their evolution, but not evolving them to like a higher human. It's evolving them to like a Tommy knocker, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like science fiction and paranormal. But as she's kind of like slowly evolving into this dubious if superior creature, like life form, like more evolved life form, um, she starts making all of these really cool gadgets and stuff. And she's a writer. So she creates this typewriter that's linked up telepathically with her brain, and her subconscious just writes books for her while she does other stuff. I would want something like that where telepathically, when I'm asleep, my subconscious is linked to my computer and writes out all of these books whilst I'm asleep. So I wake up and I'm like, oh, brilliant, done all my work. That's
Yeah,
like
well,
very specific, but I feel like that would
I
work
mean, it's
somehow.
very clever. That is a good way around it. When, like, I was thinking just before you started saying it, like, maybe just something where, like, my superpower is the ability to get loads of work done while I'm sleeping.
Yes.
Just like have videos of me with my eyes closed, like, today we're talking about Colleen Ballinger. Like, be
Yeah,
great.
or you could do like all of your editing whilst you're asleep, and maybe in your dream
Oh,
state, you're like you kind of like got one eye on your editing, and then you're doing like your dream stuff.
that would be so good. Just don't have the energy for editing these days. I just don't want to be doing it. So
Yeah,
tiring.
exactly. So you could sleep whilst you edit, because it has to be a superpower that's basically a psychic based one. It couldn't be a power based one. Like you can't like what's the use of super strength if you're asleep? Because if you go sleepwalking, you're gonna smash up your house. No point.
Hmm. Yeah. Although I would argue, like, if you have the ability to pick any superpower you could possibly conceive, and you pick super strength, like, you need to sort your shit out.
Yeah.
That's There's so much better things. Like, oh great, I can punch a hole in the wall. Fantastic. What the fuck are you gonna do with that?
Unless you're going to turn to like a Batman-esque, like vigilante lifestyle, what is the point in having super strength? Are you going to do that? Would you? I wouldn't. No.
Well, you've only gotten the strength. You haven't gotten like the stealth. You're not getting the money unless you
Hmm.
start beating people up to steal their money, in which case you're now the villain.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, like, no, it's stupid superpower. You don't get to pick that. Nobody's allowed. I've chosen.
Okay. Good. So our one is the best, like some sort of telekinesis where you can control creative stuff whilst
Yeah.
asleep by your mind. Brilliant.
Well, as long as you can get most of your work done in your sleep, then during the day you can just play video games. You're just done.
Exactly.
That's the life I want.
We're airing ourselves out for being like quite lazy. Really. Oh no. Our jobs are we have to be creative and do stuff that people like, that people like hundreds of thousands of people enjoy. Oh, what a shame.
Listen, I love my job. Of all the jobs I've had, this one is the best. But also at the same time, I'm very sleepy.
Mm.
And sometimes I just don't want to. And I think that's fair. In fact, I'm a chronic insomniac, so I'm very sleepy most of the time. Although I would get not very much work done during my sleep if I don't sleep very much, now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh yeah, that's no good for you then. Ha.
I mean, I get some of it done. I get enough to like edit a bit of a video at least.
Mm, mm, mm.
I don't know. I don't know. It's Yeah, I leave well because if I get say I got 4 hours of sleep, right? That's like half an edit, maybe.
Hmm. Yeah.
So just 2 nights sleep, it's done. Really, that's my own schedule anyway. What am I doing during the day? Why am I not getting more videos done if I can get them done that quickly?
I feel the same, but then like because I woke up early today. For me anyway, I was up by like 8 or 9. That's really early for me, you know. And it got to 1 o'clock and I was like, why haven't I really done that much today? And it's because I was too busy texting and arguing with people to be very transparent, just like arguing with people. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Mm,
You need a schedule.
I know. I'm getting there. I'll do it tomorrow. It's fine. It's fine. There's always a tomorrow.
No, you wait till Monday.
Well, it's Wednesday, so basically it's already Friday, and I'm not gonna like do anything on a
But
Friday, so I might as well wait till Monday.
that's what I was thinking, yeah.
I like how my superpower is like the only way I can get over my writer's block is if I'm unconscious. Do you know what I mean?
What do you think you'd write while you're unconscious?
Brilliant stuff, I think, because I have my best thoughts before I go to sleep. Do you find that?
Um, no.
Oh,
I just think about my mortality like
oh,
shit
see,
like
like
that.
I have to distract I've trained myself to not think about that because otherwise I won't sleep. So
How did you do that?
you just have to really talk to yourself about something else. So, I imagine me arguing with people I'm winning all the time, or coming. Do you know what's funny actually? I used to like when I was in college and studying philosophy for the first time, and I was just a chronic, hot um
Hmm.
dick. Actually I didn't care when I was a teenager. Like, I'd get bit zooted and I'd like get ready to go to sleep and I'd be thinking about my philosophy homework and I'd be thinking of these just incredible philosophical essays, like brilliant, the world has never seen before. And I'd always be like, do you know what? I'm going to remember this and I'm going to write it down tomorrow morning.
Hmm.
Of course, that never happened, but can you imagine like the garbage I was probably thinking?
Yeah, it
Like,
was
can you
probably like, if
imagine?
you think about it though, we're all like connected though. Like that was probably all it was.
It was probably the extent of that. It's just so like I embarrassed myself. I wish I could just swap memories with someone else for a bit.
Let's what that's my hypothetical what if for us. What if we could swap memories for a bit? It has to be me and you. You can't pick somebody like slightly more normal. It's not allowed.
How many memories? Like all my memories?
All of them.
All of them.
All of
That's
them that you
quite,
remember.
oh, I think about this every day. Like I can remember like almost every negative interaction I've ever had, I swear. Because
Really?
I'll think of like one negative interaction, whereas like if I'm being negative or someone else is being negative, and it will just set off a spiral and I have to like stop myself and like nip it in the bud before the spiral like before I spiral and just start
Hmm.
thinking of like the thousands of times that people have been mean to me or like I've been and then do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
horrible. It's the intrusive thoughts.
Well, luckily I can't remember shit, so I don't have this issue. So this might actually be quite peaceful for you.
It'll be awful for you because I get loads of intrusive thoughts and like they're not nice, they're horrible. So you'll be downloading all of that negativity into your brain.
I get some as well. I don't think they're the worst end of them though. Like I'm not saying,
Uh,
oh, I think about dyeing my hair intrusive. I mean actual intrusive thoughts, but I don't think they're
yeah.
the worst they could be because I'm usually doing something. I'm usually distracted. So I feel like this wouldn't be good for either of us.
It's so funny having a podcast because it's like you want to share and you want the audience to get a better idea of, I guess, who you are and your experiences and that type of thing. But also you're aware that it's like going out there publicly. So like there are these intrusive thoughts that I get. And if I think about them too much now, it's like it's actually like genuinely really, really triggering. And I don't even want to say like what they're about because I don't want other people to think about it or have like the intrusive thoughts. But it's basically about like I get intrusive thoughts of like, oh, what would it be like if like a certain harmed me, like like a physical like a pain, but physically.
Hmm.
Like what if
Hmm.
something was done to me that was like really painful, and like my brain will just go wild of it. And I don't think it helps that I used to read those horrible women's weekly magazines. Like
Oh, yeah, that's probably 50% of what's wrong with you.
I was like 10 reading these, like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There was this one story of this lady. I think she had I think she had breast cancer because that's the only thing that makes sense. And she was in so much pain from it. Either that or she was just in loads of pain from something. She had something wrong with her breast. She was in so much pain. The doctors weren't helping, yada, yada, yada. So she took some garden shears and chopped her own breasts off.
Would that fix the pain?
She was just in that much pain that she was like, I've got to get rid of them. Like if you have a really bad toothache and some people will, like, they're in that much pain, they will take out their own teeth, kind of thing. I
Yeah.
guess similar, like, I remember it quite clearly because I remember reading it being like, oh my God, this lady cut, like, chopped,
Yeah. I don't, yeah, I feel like that's okay, but then also I grew up on the same internet you grew up in, so I feel like I'm not a good gauge of whether that's okay or not.
Sometimes I'll get intrusive thoughts, like basically along those lines, and I'll be like, "Stop it, stop it!" But the more you say "stop it," the worse it gets, and it gets like worse and more graphic than that, and it's like, and it's pain, and I'll just be and it'll really stress me out. I'll get so distressed because I'll just be like, "Stop thinking about this." I don't
Yeah.
want other people to get that because it's like it's really unpleasant. It's
You
like
know
it's
what
not
my thing
fun.
is when I get those, like, because I
Mm,
have specific ones of like things I've seen in the past and
mm.
whatever. My tactic is I have to force myself to sing Fergalicious in my head because it's just so distracting and I can never remember the words.
Really?
So I feel like that's helpful. Instead of being like, stop it, you just have to pick a specific thing. And at some point, that's what I picked as my thing. So it's stupid, but it's helpful.
Oh, so I was just thinking then, oh, I should choose Rap God by Eminem, like, rehearsing that in my head and remembering all the words because it's long, it's 6 minutes long, it's wordy, that'd distract me. But you know what, like, recurrent thought keep having, it
Mm-hmm.
just like, it's like it's like the screensaver of my mind at the moment. And it's
Yeah.
really annoying and I get it in my head and then it won't get out. You know, you're like this actually. You know that Taylor Swift song? It's like, I I've never heard the song itself, but is it Cruel Summer?
I hate this song. I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan. I know she was in my top 5 on Spotify Wrapped,
No,
but
you're going
like,
to love this.
oh
Like,
God, go on.
um, like, because again, I've not listened to this whole song, but I've like, I maybe it's been on TikTok or something, and there's a bit where she kind of like, what does she say? It's something like,
I'm drunk in the back of the car bit. That's the bit that's on TikTok, I think.
no, it's something where something about someone looks so something like a
You look
devil.
so pretty like a devil, that.
That bit, but like
Mhm.
right at the end where she kind of like tries to sort of shout it in a way.
Yeah.
Do you know how much I detest that? Because like to me, it's like I can feel that she's trying too hard, and it's like, oh, you. And I hate it because it's not, um, like it's almost like you're trying to do like a tiny bit of like a screamo thing, like not like a
Yeah.
screamo, but like there's kind of like
Like a
a dust.
grungy kind of a thing.
Yeah, there's like a dusting of grunge there, but you're not grunge, and your vocal range, like you click, like, and it really annoys me because I hate,
Hmm.
and like I have a
It
very, yeah, right, but
it bothers me as well.
that gets in my head, and when that gets in my head, it will be in my head all day, and it stresses me out because I'm like, I fucking hate it. I hate it so much.
No, I think you know what, this is completely off topic. I'm so sorry. I don't particularly like Taylor Swift songs where she's singing super high pitched. She has a beautiful like low register, like gorgeous.
Mm,
And some of her newer songs are quite low,
mm.
and I like those a lot. Like Cruel Summer, I think it came off the Lover album, and there is a lot of nice ones on that, but it's still very like trying to sing quite high and stuff. That one little shouty thing that every time I hear it, I'm like,
It
it's
makes me cringe.
unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's giving kind of Gabby Hanna, just a little bit.
Oh, poor Taylor. That's what I mean.
No, just vocally. I don't think Gabby Hanna's a bad singer. I think she's a good singer. I think people just say she's a terrible singer because she's Gabby Hanna, but she's grand. Like I could listen to her. She's not the best.
I will admit, when she put that video up where she's like in the bathtub and she's singing and she put that on YouTube and everyone was confused. I
Yeah.
did think that song
That's such a
slapped.
good song.
It's so
It's
good.
such a good fucking song. If she wasn't busy being an absolute like basket case at the time,
Just
that's
awful
such a good
person as
song.
well.
Yeah.
Like that annoys me because it's like, can you not just work on doing more stuff like that? Like leave
Mhm.
behind. It's like the J.K. Rowling thing, really. Like, do you know how much people would love you if you just did the prequel to Harry Potter and you did the
Mhm.
Marauders going through the Marauders, like that gang going through Hogwarts, but maybe to be a bit different. Don't do it from James Potter's perspective. Do it from Lily's perspective because she was friends with Snape, and that's more interesting. Muggleborn, like
Mhm.
going to, do you know how much people would love you? She would like be back in billionaire status because she's not
Mhm.
billionaire, she's not
Well, I
ultra
think it's because
millionaire.
she gives quite a
Yeah, she
bit
gives it.
to her
But
foundations.
yeah, but she'd go straight back up into being a billionaire. Like just put down Twitter, put down these silly little crime novels that you're trying to do that no one really gives a shit about, and just do the like prequel. It's like that really annoys me because it's like you have ruined your own, like, whether you agree with her or disagree with her, what, like, I don't really care about what people think. I know what I think of her. I think she
Mhm.
needs to shut up. Like she has ruined her own legacy because like she just won't shut up and insert herself into things that don't really concern her that much, right? Just sit in your mansion and write the prequels.
I'm just I'm still upset that the movie that got made was the stupid but no, it's pandering to the American audience bullshit. Those Fantastic Beast movies, they're so bad.
I've never
They're
seen any
so
of
bad.
them. I haven't seen any of them.
The plot is stupid. The main character does not affect the plot and is not affected by the plot. Nothing, it's just happening around him. I don't care about a single one of the characters.
Mm,
Apparently there was a big time jump of like 7 years or something in the movies. I didn't realize. I didn't
mm,
know that was what happened. Like there was no indication. They're stupid. They're boring. I'm not engaged and I don't care. And it upsets me because we could have had a much better prequel than this.
mm,
And I'm annoyed.
mm.
So yes, get back to work and stop tweeting.
Put down your
Please.
phone, pick up your typewriter. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
They have a little typewriter with a Kindle screen that you can get now. I saw an ad for it. $800.
Huh.
That sounds like a scam to me.
Mm. Doesn't seem worth it. Shall we end this episode?
Yeah, sorry I went off on this
Because
complete
otherwise we're just
tangent.
gonna start. I don't know. We're gonna have Gabby Hanna and J.K. Rowling stands after us, but I don't care about their opinions anyway, so I just won't read the comments.
So you're fine. But do leave in the comments what your answers are to all of these
Oh,
hypotheticals.
that's a good idea. Get the audience interaction. I didn't think of that at all. Okay, good. That's what I don't pay you for being around here for. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is part of Podmas. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram, follow on Spotify, follow on iTunes, 5 stars on Spotify, and well, tune in for tomorrow's episode where we are going to go over some would you rather questions.
Beautiful. Happy Podmas.
Happy Podmas. Bye.